We service most of eastern Alabama and portions beyond. Over the years, we have expanded, and so we now cover a large chunk of both Georgia and Alabama states, as well as going into Florida, the Carolinas on occasion, and other locations, depending on the situation and need. At about roughly 4 or 5 years old, dining in downtown, Old Town, I should say, San Diego, saw a light show across the street, and turns out that that light show were orbs flying all throughout outdoors in what was to be the graveyard of the infamous Whaley House, which has been documented historically for numerous different reasons out in San Diego. And ever since, that just got me hooked. My earliest serious time of being trained by my late mentor, Peter James, godfather of paranormal television show Sightings, among others, aboard the RMS Queen Mary out in Long Beach, to just a number of different locations before ending up here in the Bi-City area, which Bi-City collectively being Columbus, Georgia, and Phoenix City, Alabama. So as far as I would say one case that really stands out was a case that I can't give too many specific details on just for legality purposes, but we some years back teamed up with MUFON, which for those that aren't aware of MUFON, they are the go-to organization for everything that is UFOs and extraterrestrials in nature. We had a strange case that involved both the paranormal and the otherworldly, I guess you could say extraterrestrial in nature. It's extremely uncommon for the two to interlap in a situation. It does occur, it has occurred in other locations, but it's highly infrequent and very uncommon for that to happen. I've been fortunate enough to have the pleasure of conducting tours out at Lake Lanier a few years back, and getting to know that area extremely well, in addition to the history and the folklore, and kind of correcting the story straight with the public as far as what actually took place, what is and what is not actually happening at Lake Lanier, which is, I know, a hot spot for individuals worldwide.
My name is Rebecca Gossett, and I run the ghost tours at the Springer Opera House, along with a bunch of other stuff, but I think that's probably the most relevant part of my job. So during my time at the Springer, I've had a few different paranormal experiences, ghost encounters, if you will. I personally have not seen any sort of corporeal versions of a ghost, but I have had some pretty spooky experiences. The most notable for me was I was once running a show as a stage manager up in our booth on the second balcony. And as I was running the show, we had this very large door to the booth that I would usually keep open so that we would get some sort of draft in the booth. But the carpet of that booth is very thick, and so if you ever wanted to close that door, I would have to put my full body weight to completely move that door to shut it. But this day, as I was running the show, some things had been weird that day with the show, just little things going wrong, props being in the wrong spot, that sort of thing. And I'd been thinking about it, what's happening, what's different today. And right toward the end of the show, that door just slammed shut. Most of my experiences are very positive. Some of them are a little playful. That's how I interpret the door slamming or things like that. Weird noises, I take that as the ghosts just trying to stay relevant with us, let us know that they're there. But for the most part, they are very helpful spirits. I have never had a paranormal experience before working at the Springer. And to the point that I would say before I started working there, I didn't believe in the paranormal at all. It's only been through those experiences that I've started to open my mind up a little bit. I think the most common misconception about ghosts or spirits or the paranormal or whatever is that it's all negative. People tend to be very scared, which is understandable because it's the unknown, but all of the experiences that I've had or that other people I know have had there have been mostly positive or at least not hurtful. No one has sustained an injury or been frightened so much that it had a negative effect on them. For the most part, it leaves people with just a sort of reverence for the space and the people that have occupied it. So I think that we just need to be more open-minded to those things so that we can hear what they're trying to say to us.
My name is Shelley Leary. So I am originally from Roswell, which is in the Atlanta area of Georgia. I grew up in front of a camera. My dad's a photographer. My mom is a chaplain and has been doing a whole lot of fun stuff all over. But I got into theater really young, and I love working in a nice historic theater that I do now at the Springer Opera House. By the time that I got to Columbus in 2017 and I saw that there was a theater that was rumored to be haunted, I was like, I gotta work there. The person that loves Halloween all year round, absolutely find me there. Back in 2019, I was assistant stage manager for Cinderella, which was the Christmas show that year. And after rehearsals, I would go down the elevator that was near the saloon, and I would turn left. And down that hallway, you can see all the way into the entrance of our ballroom, Foley Hall. And in the doorway, I would always see the outline of a man in a top hat. And I was like, I'm just really tired, I'm doing long hours, and I would walk across the street to the Rankin, which was my dorm at the time, and I would go to sleep, and it would happen every single night. Until about a couple weeks later, when we were moving to the stage, one of the last times we were in the rehearsal hall, I did the same thing. I got into the elevator, went downstairs, and when I turned left, I saw the man in the top hat, but this time he was walking towards me. And I felt a hand on my back start pushing me out, so I took that as my cue to run. And I left, and I didn't tell anybody about that until a couple years later. A couple months ago, when I went on the ghost tour with Carter for the first time, I heard one of the stories about a floating hand and people feeling the tap or feeling a hand on their shoulder in the exact same spot that I had felt it as well. And I was like, oh, so maybe those things are connected.
My name is Carter Eldridge. Born and raised right here in Columbus, Georgia, so I grew up around the Springer Opera House. Did the Springer Theater Academy, so I've been around the building for a long time, known a lot of people. People like Ron Anderson, who started the Springer Theater Academy, who is no longer with us, died in 2016, but his spirit still definitely walks around with us around the Springer. And I'm an actor, teaching artist, went to Columbus State University, and now I teach and do ghost tours and perform at the Springer Opera House all the time. You know, growing up, we talk about in the tour, it's usually seeing figures in different places. And it's not just on the stage, it's around the building, in dressing rooms, usually, just seeing people. I haven't had an experience of personally watching an object move like some other people have, but it's at the point where we've done the tour so much that strange things have started happening during the tours, and that's become the majority of my stories. During the early days of the tour, things like the doors to the box seats would open up during the tour. Like, we had people just, while we were up in the seats, they just watched the box seat door open by itself. When we were up on the 3rd floor balcony where the booth is, where we used to go up there to call shows, the chair, the swivel chair that's in that booth slowly turned towards me while I was talking. And some people caught that, and I looked over, I was like, yeah, that chair was in a different place than it was before, wasn't it?
Still trying to reclaim what he believes was rightfully his. His claim to the stage. That stage right there.
People think that maybe there's a lot of angry ghosts. They think, oh, we're gonna learn about some ghosts that are like trying to, you know, get vengeance on somebody. We're gonna like learn about spirits who like try to hurt people. But really, like, the thing that I try to preach with the tour is that if we're gonna believe that there are spirits still walking around, I think there's a lot of them who are former friends of the Springer, you know? Former actors, people who used to work here, people who love the Springer. I think they walk around and they just want to say hey. Some people have bad experiences with ghosts. Some people have more experiences with ghosts than other people. And so people come in with expectations. Sometimes those expectations are met, and that's okay. That's just the nature of our building. Our building is not like, you know, other places where you might experience a ghost or hear ghost stories. But we have a specific history, and our building is preserved differently than other places where you might have gone to ghost tours before. And I'll say we don't assist when something spooky happens. If something spooky happens, that's because something spooky happened. There's no tricks. Nobody's on the other side of the wall making a noise. Nobody's up there opening that door. Nobody's rattling any chains. That's just what's happening, you know? Nobody's over there making that light. That's just the building. It's a building that lets you know that there's a presence there, and that's just how it is.
A big common misconception is that people generally feel that they are immune, safeguarded when going to certain places.
I think the spirits are happy to hear and see from us. That's the feeling, at least, that I can tell you the more we do the ghost tours, the more we have unexplainable things happen. And I keep saying that it's like they know the spotlight is on them.
When it comes to speaking with somebody that is really set in their ways, I try to have an open mind and really listen to them and listen to where they're at and where they got those ideas, because a lot of the time where they got those ideas is not the best source. So providing the right sources in a nice and kind and open way is going to be the best way to kind of even try and start a dialogue with someone, you know? If they're not open to having a dialogue, then you're not going to get through to them, and I'm not going to change someone's mind in one day or even 1 year or a lifetime, you know?
There are spirits who want to help or inform, you know? Of course, there's been a couple of times in the costume shop where something strange has happened that's been scary, but I mean, the recurring stories is that spirits in there want to help.
The ghosts keep me going. It's always too gray. She told me I love you. The pain
So if anybody is interested in going on a ghost tour at the Springer, they can just go to our website, springeroperahouse.org. We have a tours link and you can get tickets all year round. We'd love to have them.
Folks can reach us at our website, our hotline. We are nonprofit and we don't charge for our services, never do.